Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. Today's topic is 3 easy communication techniques for marriage. You're going to love these. Hi, welcome back. I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. And when I tell you I've got 3 easy techniques for communication in your marriage, I'm not kidding. I've written 2 books. Breaking the Cycle is one of them. Lessons for a Happy Marriage is another. You could always go to Amazon and see what other people think about them, but there's a lot of techniques in there for you. And of course, we have the online 12-week course that is amazing. That'll really help you with your marriage. Now, I've saved the last of these 3 for last. And it's not because I want you to stay throughout the video, although I do, and I wouldn't mind also if you subscribe and like, because it helps us. But the last one is very esoteric and it's very deep. The other 2 are also deep and very important, but not quite so esoteric. So number 1, and this technique is really very important if you want to maintain peace, harmony, and then build on your relationship from there. And this technique is very simple. Hold back your reactions. Don't react. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we are not as simple as we may look. You look in the mirror, and if you're a lady, you see a beautiful face, and you find this is wrong and that is wrong, and you fix it, right? If you're a man, your hair is out of place. I do that every morning. I see which hair is out of place, and I fix it. We tend to fix the things outwardly that we see in ourselves, that we see about ourselves, and we don't think anything of it. Unfortunately, when we communicate and your husband or your wife says something to you, your first reaction is a habitual reaction based on thinking that they're seeing something wrong. Now, even if they're pointing out something wrong, that is not what we're talking about now. What we're talking about is sort of an introspective technique where you're going, my mind wants me to react with anger or with strength and power, or maybe as a victim. So don't react right away. Hold back your reaction. Now, what do you do when you hold it back? You're not doing it to stifle yourself. You're not doing it because you're not worthy of speaking. You're doing it because one of the most important parts of having a great relationship is self-change. Now, I know we don't hear about this. We just assume, well, I am who I am. But that's not right. We should be working on ourselves all the time. And the way we do that is by recognizing the thoughts that we have that are not marriage friendly, you see. So hold back. That's the first step. But then go, is that a good thought that I'm having? Is that really what I want to say? Is this really how I want to feel? Now, this is based on something that we're not taught at all. We're all taught that we have free will. Free will, yeah, pick out ice cream that is chocolate or vanilla or pistachio. Yeah, free will. It's your choice. That is so shallow. I mean, it's okay, but what free will really is all about is about defining ourselves in a way that brings happiness to others and to ourselves. That's what free will is actually for. And the greatest way to bring happiness is by expressing loving thoughts, isn't it? So when you're holding back, you can ask yourself, was this thought loving that I had? Was this reaction really a positive? Is it really beneficial to my marriage? Is it beneficial? Put aside marriage, because that's kind of surfacey thought. Is this going to improve the connection that I have with my soulmate? Is it going to make them feel loved? Is it going to make them feel appreciated? Is it going to make them feel like I'm really here for them? I care about them. Or is it just an automatic, habitual reaction that you're pulling out of the warehouse of the mind without even thinking? And there we go, without even thinking. Our lives are run by not the outer conditions, but by our inner reactions. So hold back. They don't have to be expressed. Now, some people say, well, yeah, that's true. Some things don't have to be expressed. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to express anything, ever. It's a free will choice. So use that time where the ego is being impacted by an external. Use that time to check in and decide whether your reactive thoughts, your automatic habitual reactive thoughts, are you. I've been doing this for a long time. Started saving marriages in 2001. Before then, I was a divorce mediator, and a couple asked me to help them save their marriage, and I said, yeah, why not? Their marriage was declared dead by the therapists who they saw. And when I got into it, because I don't have a background in Western psychology, of course I know a little bit, but not much, certainly not enough to be a marriage counselor as they are. But what I ended up realizing was, wow, our world is totally missing the whole point about marriage. And so where they will tell you, the psychologists will tell you, you should do this, and do this in your communication, most of it is incorrect. I could tell you from my own experience, when I was a divorce mediator, I was divorced. I had been married almost 20 years at that point. And what happened was, we were told by probably the top marriage counselor in San Diego County, which is where we lived and where I had my practice, to sit down with each other and tell each other what's wrong. And that was the end of our marriage. And so what I did was I got into marriage from a different perspective. I got into marriage from a perspective of, what is it that we really want out of our marriage? And I realized what we really want is to be happy, happier than we were before. And we found our soulmate. And we were so happy. And then what happened? Well, you've all heard the term that the wedding day is the happiest day of the bride's life. And that's such nonsense. In other words, from there, your marriage goes downhill. You think about this for a bit. And I realized, no, my couple wanted to have a happy marriage. Yes, they were doing a lot of things that were wrong. And we go into that. I have it in my books, and I have it in these videos, and I have it in the course. What are the killers of marriage and all of that? But what we really want to do is build upon that foundation of love. That's what we really want to do. And so don't allow your mind, and this is a big part of proper marriage training, is to learn how to control your mind and why you're controlling your mind and what purpose there is in controlling your mind. And simply put, the purpose is to make sure that your mind is aligned with that love. And so don't just react. It's not beneficial. It's detrimental. If you take my course, you're going to hear those two terms a lot. Number two is kind of, you haven't thought about this before, but it's a big deal. Number two is to handle criticism without ego attachment. What do I mean by that? Well, this requires us to delve into who we are a little bit. Because most of us think, well, Descartes said, he was a great philosopher, he said, I think, therefore I am. It's basically the other way around. I am, therefore my mind thinks. And I get to choose whether I like how my mind is thinking. And because I have free will and volition, I get to decide how my mind will think. You don't hear about this, do you? You don't. And this is one of the things I discovered about marriage, that the fundamentals are wrong. The fundamentals that we live with now are we marry the person who we get along with, we change too much, we get a divorce. Over 50% of the people get a divorce. Sex is a huge part of marriage now. Well, it's a wonderful part of marriage, but it's like the flower on the bush. It's not why you get married. That would be a very immature thing to do. And do we need to argue? I've seen videos and I've talked to therapists about there should be proper arguments. And I go, no, there shouldn't be any arguments. Each of us should learn how to control ourselves. Now, our spouse may start an argument, and guess what? If we allow our ego, which is the mind, with a little bit of soul in it, really, the ego, think of it as the mind with a little bit of soul. It's the opposite of who we are. We are souls who have a mind. So if you let the ego run the show, it's going to be very defensive. It cares very much about itself. Selfishness is the theme song for the ego. Self-centeredness, self-protection goes back to self-preservation, which is seated in the bodily cells, transferred to the mind, and the mind goes, I got this, baby. That's the ego saying, I'm not going to let them get away with this. I'm going to take a stand here. I'm going to make sure my rights are protected. That's all ego crap. Marriage is not about ego. Marriage is about transcending the ego and experiencing love. The very first thing that had you realize that this was the one. And they are the one. But you can easily mess it up if you let your ego take over. So don't let your ego react to criticism as if the world is on fire. Just let it go. Just let it go. It's not about you. And it may be that the criticism is only coming because they're mad at you for something else or mad at someone else. So we need to use our discrimination in our communication. Number 3, and I told you this would be esoteric. And I'm looking back at what I've been talking about, and I realize, holy mackerel, this whole thing has been kind of esoteric. But the truth is that marriage is esoteric. Marriage is based in love. What is love? Love is that attribute of God that we all crave. We crave love and joy, and we achieve it through understanding and wisdom. So when we communicate what we want to do, because remember, love is everything in marriage, we want to saturate all of our communication. This is number 3. Saturate all of your communication, whether it's initiating or responsive. Your communication should be saturated with love. And you go, yeah, but I'm not feeling it right now. I'm angry as hell. That's a choice. We aren't taught that. We're not taught that we can eliminate anger entirely. In our course especially, it's a big deal. You have to eliminate anger. You don't have to allow it a place in your life. It is not a part of you. It's a part of the ego, part of the body's reaction to danger. and you could banish it from your mind. You don't have enough danger coming at you in your life to warrant anger. I mean, anger is an amazing thing. It shuts down everything. It becomes one-pointed defensiveness. So that's kind of the opposite of love. Love is something we cultivate. This is our mission. This is our mission in our marriage. We cultivate love. In fact, you could say the very purpose of marriage, because God didn't create marriage like, oh, I think I'll create marriage. It's very purposeful. And I'm going to explain this to you right now. But again, please subscribe, like the video. God created marriage because ultimately God wants us, who are created in His image, to learn to love the way He loves us. Isn't that beautiful? God wants us to love Him or her the way He loves us. And because God is without form, He's given us marriage so that we have someone who we could learn to love unconditionally. And that's the purpose. We learn to love unconditionally using the environment, the venue of marriage. But we cultivate that love. We transcend our own egos. We don't have to transcend our spouse's ego. That's their business. We don't have to teach them anything. We don't have to lead them. We don't have to follow them. I define marriage in one way as an individual spiritual path. Individual that two soulmates take together. But you're still an individual. You always will be. You're God's own. He wants you to have the most amazing marriage imaginable. He wants you to experience love and joy beyond anything you've ever dreamed. And marriage is a perfect vehicle for that. So get with the program. And I want to teach you how. Okay, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I'm so glad you stopped by. Don't be afraid to share this video with others. You know, I know it's a little touchy, but you can put it on social media or send it to a friend and say, wow, look what I found. You can do that. And you can leave a comment, of course. A lot of people are leaving comments asking me about something personal in their marriage. I'm very happy to help. Or you could write one of our marriage counselors at the Marriage Foundation. You go to our website and there is a link, Ask a Counselor. And we are very happy to be of service to you in your marriage. God bless you and take care. Thank you.